Kelly walked beside Lyra through the strange city streets. The buildings around them seemed to be made of crystal that changed colors as they passed. Some towers reached so high they disappeared into the lavender clouds above. Citizens of all shapes and sizes moved around them. Some looked almost human while others had multiple limbs or floated instead of walked. Many stopped to stare at Kelly with curious eyes. "This is the central hub," Lyra explained as they entered a large open plaza. The ground beneath their feet glowed with soft blue light responding to their steps. Fountains of what looked like liquid light danced in patterns Kelly had never seen before. "How many different species live here?" Kelly asked, watching as a group of small hovering creatures passed by, trailing sparkles in the air. Lyra made a gesture with her hand and symbols appeared floating in front of her. She touched one, and the symbols rearranged themselves. "In your counting system, approximately 47 distinct civilizations maintain permanent presence here, with hundreds more who visit regularly." Kelly tried to take it all in. Her scientific mind was racing, trying to catalog everything she saw. "We had no idea there was so much life out here. Your kind is still young," Lyra said. "But you learn quickly. That is one reason you interest us." They approached a tall spiral structure in the center of the plaza. Unlike the other buildings, this one seemed to be alive somehow, pulsing with inner light and occasionally shifting. "Its shape the council awaits," Lyra said. "They wish to meet." The human Kelly suddenly felt nervous. "Who exactly is this council?" "The oldest and wisest of my people," Lyra explained. "They guide our interactions with other species. They have many questions for you." Inside the building, Kelly found herself in a circular chamber. The walls curved upward, forming a dome above 7 beings, similar to Lyra, but taller with more elaborate markings on their skin, sat in a semicircle. They did not speak, but Kelly could feel them somehow at the edges of her mind, like a gentle pressure. "Honored Council," Lyra bowed slightly. "I present Kelly Dawson. Of Earth, the human I rescued." One of the council members rose, the tallest, with skin that rippled with deep blues and purples. "We welcome you, human. Your kind has been observed but never invited until now." Kelly wasn't sure if she should bow or shake hands, so she simply nodded respectfully. "Thank you for allowing me to visit your world. We sense your curiosity, your desire for knowledge," the council member continued. "This pleases us. Such traits are valued among our people." Another council member leaned forward. "Your species is unusual, isolated yet persistent, divided yet capable of great unity when needed. We have watched your progress with interest." Kelly felt a strange sensation, as if gentle fingers were brushing against her thoughts. "Are you reading my mind?" she asked, trying not to sound alarmed. "Only surface thoughts," the first council member assured her. "And only with your permission. We do not intrude where unwelcome." Kelly took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. This was all happening so fast. Just a few hours ago, she had been dying alone in space. Now she stood before an alien council as the first human ambassador to their civilization. "If you allow it, we can share knowledge more directly," the council member explained. "A temporary joining of minds. It is how we learn most efficiently." Kelly hesitated, unsure. What would that involve exactly? Lyra stepped closer to Kelly. "You would remain yourself. Your thoughts would be your own, but you would experience some of our memories, our knowledge, and we would experience some of yours. It is painless and can be ended at any time." The scientist in Kelly was fascinated by the possibility, but the human in her was afraid. The most intimate thing possible, sharing her very thoughts with alien beings. "I need time to consider that," Kelly said. "I hope you understand." The council members exchanged looks, then nodded as one. "We respect your caution. Trust must be earned, not demanded. For now, we offer you guest rights in our city. Lyra will be your guide." The meeting concluded. Kelly followed Lyra out of the council chamber, her mind spinning with everything she had seen and heard. "They have prepared living space for you," Lyra said, leading Kelly to a smaller crystal structure near the edge of the plaza. "It will adapt to your needs and preferences." The door, if it could be called that, dissolved as they approached. Inside, Kelly found a space that looked almost like an Earth apartment, except everything seemed to glow with soft light. The furniture rearranged itself as she watched, forming shapes that seemed more comfortable for human anatomy. "You can rest here," Lyra said. "Tomorrow I will show you more of our world. There is much to see, much to learn." Kelly sat on what appeared to be a couch, surprised by how comfortable it felt. "This is all so overwhelming," she admitted. "I never imagined anything like this existed." Lyra sat beside her. "Our peoples could help each other in many ways. Human creativity and adaptability combined with our technology and knowledge. The possibilities are endless, and that is why you saved me," Kelly asked. "To forge some kind of alliance." "Partly," Lyra admitted. "But also because all life is precious, your death would have been unnecessary. A waste we prefer to preserve rather than lose." Kelly looked out the window at the alien city sprawled before her. 3 moons now hung in, the sky casting multiple shadows across the landscape. In the distance, flying creatures soared between the crystal spires. "I have so many questions," Kelly said, "and we have many for you as well." Lyra responded with a smile. "Rest now. Tomorrow we begin." Learning in earnest, as Lyra left Kelly alone in the strange apartment. Kelly wondered what the future would bring. She was effectively an ambassador for all humanity now. Her experiences here could change the course of human history. Forever. She took out her tablet and began recording everything she had seen, everything she had learned. This would be the most important scientific journal ever written. First contact with an advanced alien civilization. As the alien night fell outside, Kelly watched. The city transformed. Lights of all colors began to glow within the crystal structures, creating a display that made Earth cities look dim by comparison. The sky darkened to deep indigo, revealing stars in patterns she had never seen before. Kelly wondered if she would ever see Earth again, her family, her friends, or if this new world would become her home. Kelly woke to the sound of gentle music filling her room. The melody was unlike anything she had heard on Earth, complex yet soothing. The ceiling above her shifted, showing what appeared to be the sky outside, but with enhanced details. She could see creatures flying high above the city, tiny specks moving between clouds. A panel on the wall glowed, indicating a message. Lyra would arrive soon to continue their tour. Kelly quickly prepared herself, washing in a pool of water that seemed to clean more effectively than soap ever had. Her clothes had been refreshed somehow, looking and feeling brand new. When Lyra arrived, she brought what looked like jewelry, a delicate circlet of shimmering metal. "This will help you understand our language more completely," she explained. "It translates concepts our words cannot express in your language." Kelly hesitated before putting it on. "Is it safe?" Lyra nodded. "It only enhances communication. It cannot control your thoughts or actions." With the circlet on Kelly's understanding suddenly deepened. Words Lyra spoke carried layers of meaning, images, emotions. Kelly gasped at the richness of it. "Today, we visit the knowledge archives." Lyra said, her words carrying impressions of vast databases, ancient wisdom and shared memories. Kelly understood immediately. This was more than a library. It was the collective knowledge of Lyra's civilization. They traveled through the city in what Kelly could only describe as a bubble of energy. It floated effortlessly, following paths of light that crisscrossed between buildings. Other citizens traveled in similar vehicles, moving in perfect coordination, never coming close to collision. The archives building was massive, a pyramid structure with the top open to the sky. Inside, Kelly saw no books or computers. Instead, pools of light filled the floor, each a different color. Citizens stood or floated beside these pools, their hands immersed in the glow. "This is how we store and access information," Lyra explained. "Each pool contains knowledge of different sciences, arts, histories. The light interfaces directly with our minds. Can I use it too?" Kelly asked, fascinated by the concept. "With assistance, yes." Lyra guided Kelly to a smaller pool of silver light. "This contains basic information about our world. It is configured for non-celestials." Kelly hesitated, then slowly placed her hand into the light. The sensation was strange, like cool water but dry somehow. Information suddenly flowed into her mind. Images, concepts, understanding it. Felt like learning an entire textbook in seconds but without the strain or confusion. She learned about the celestial harmony Lyra's people had evolved on a planet with intense radiation, which had led to their light-based biology. They had achieved space travel 20,000 Earth years ago and had contacted hundreds of other species, forming alliances and knowledge exchanges. Their technology was based on manipulating energy directly, rather than through mechanical means. Kelly pulled her hand away when the flow became too intense. That was amazing, she gasped. How much information is stored here? Lyra made a gesture that Kelly now understood meant vastness beyond comprehension. All our history, all our discoveries, everything we have, learned from other civilizations as well. As they moved through the archives, Kelly noticed some pools were restricted, guarded by celestials with more elaborate markings. What are those areas? Some knowledge requires preparation. Lyra explained. Technology. That could be dangerous if misused. Information about species that are not yet ready for contact. Predictions about possible futures. Kelly wondered if humans fell into the not yet ready category. She felt both humbled by how advanced the Celestials were and proud that they had chosen to make contact with her. Later they visited what Lyra called the creation spheres, massive domed structures, where Celestials worked on projects ranging from art to technology. Kelly watched in awe as an artist, shaped light into forms that seemed alive, moving in response to music created by another Celestial nearby. In another sphere, engineers constructed what Lyra explained was a ship capable of traveling through folds in space-time, allowing journeys of thousands of light years in moments. Your people still use combustion engines, Lyra observed. There are much more efficient ways to travel. Kelly thought about her own stranded research vessel with its failing systems. It seemed primitive now compared to what she was seeing. Here, she explained, we built our space program step by step over decades. This is centuries beyond what we have achieved. Yet in other ways you are advanced. Lyra said, your adaptability, your creativity, your emotional range. These are valuable traits. Some species with technology far beyond yours lack these qualities. They shared a meal in what Kelly would call a garden, though the plants moved and responded to touch. Food was served in bowls made of what looked like solidified light. The flavors were indescribable, complex, and changing as she ate. Many citizens approached, asking Kelly questions about Earth-human customs, technology, art. Their curiosity seemed genuine, and Kelly found herself acting as an ambassador, describing human achievements and struggles. I never expected to be representing all of humanity, Kelly admitted to Lyra as they walked through the garden after the meal. I am just a research scientist, not a diplomat. Lyra made a gesture of understanding. That is precisely why you were chosen. Your scientific mind allows you to observe and analyze without the political constraints of a formal ambassador. You see with clearer eyes. As the day continued, Kelly was introduced to more aspects of celestial society, their governance system which seemed to function without the need for enforcement, their education methods where young Celestials learned by directly experiencing the memories of elders, their art, which engaged all senses simultaneously. By the time they returned to Kelly's quarters, her mind was overflowing with new information. She had taken thousands of notes and images on her tablet, though some things defied description. You have given me so much to think about, Kelly said as Lyra prepared to leave. I keep wondering what Earth could learn from all this, how it would change us. Lyra seemed pleased by this response. That is the beginning of wisdom, recognizing the potential for growth. Tomorrow, if you are willing, the council wishes to speak with you again. They have a proposal. What kind of proposal? Kelly asked. One that could benefit both our peoples, Lyra answered, but it requires trust, and it begins with the mind sharing I mentioned before. Kelly had been thinking about this possibility all day. The scientist in her desperately wanted to experience the direct knowledge transfer to understand the Celestials completely, but fear still lingered. I need to sleep on it, Kelly said. Honestly, Lyra nodded. Take your time. This is not a decision to make hastily. Rest well, Kelly Dawson of Earth. Tomorrow brings new possibilities. Alone again in her quarters, Kelly sat by the window watching the alien city at night. The circlet Lyra had given her sat on a table nearby. Kelly wondered if it did more than just translate. If it was preparing her somehow for deeper connection with the Celestials. Her scientific training told her to be cautious, to question everything, but her instincts told her the Celestials particularly, Lyra genuinely wanted to help humanity grow. She was caught between skepticism and hope, between fear and curiosity. In the morning she would have to decide how far she was willing to go, how much she was willing to trust these beings. She had already come further than any human before her. What was one more step into the unknown? Morning came with a soft chime filling Kelly's quarters. The walls shifted from night mode today, gradually increasing the light to match the rising sun outside. Kelly had made her decision during the night. She would agree to the mind sharing, but with conditions. She was a scientist after all. And this was the opportunity of a lifetime. Lyra arrived looking more luminescent than the previous day. Her skin patterns shifting in what Kelly now recognized as an expression of excitement. The circlet helped Kelly understand more of the nonverbal communication. "You seem different today," Lyra observed. "You have decided," Kelly nodded. "I will try the mind sharing, but I want to maintain control. I want to be able to end it at any time. And I want to record the experience as much as possible for scientific study." Lyra made a gesture of agreement. "The Council will respect your conditions. They understand your caution. It is natural when experiencing something so new." They traveled to the Council chamber. In silence, Kelly mentally preparing herself for whatever was to come. The 7 Council members were waiting in the same semicircle formation. But today the chamber seemed different. The walls pulsed with gentle light, and the floor beneath them had become reflective, like still water. "Welcome again." Kelly Dawson of Earth, the lead Council member, greeted Lyra. "Tells us you are willing to experience sharing." "We are pleased," Kelly stepped forward, trying to project confidence. "Yes, but with some conditions." The Council member made a gesture. Kelly now understood meant respectful acknowledgement. "Name your terms. I want to maintain my autonomy." Kelly said firmly, "I want the ability to end the connection at any time. And I want to remember everything, so I can document it. Your terms are reasonable and expected." The Council member replied, "This sharing is not a submission but a communion of equals. You will remain yourself. Your memories will be your own. We seek understanding, not control." Kelly took a deep breath. "So how does this work exactly?" The Council members rose and approached, forming a circle around Kelly and Lyra. One of them carried what looked like a small star hovering above their palm. "This focuses our energies," the Council member explained. "It will create a bridge between minds, temporary and controlled. You may experience disorientation at first, but it will pass." Kelly felt her heart racing but nodded her consent. The Council member placed the star-like object in the air between them. It began to expand, tendrils of light extending outward, connecting to each Council member, to Lyra, and finally reaching toward Kelly. "Do not resist the connection," the Council member advised. "Allow it to form naturally." Kelly felt a gentle touch against her consciousness, like a knock at a door. She hesitated, then mentally opened herself to the connection. The experience defied words. Images, thoughts, emotions, memories flowed into her mind. Not overwhelming, but carefully curated. She saw the celestial homeworld, a planet orbiting twin suns. She felt the joy of flying through crystal forests, the wonder of first contact with other species, the profound connection of celestial family bonds. She experienced snippets of their history, their evolution, from light-sensitive organisms in high-radiation pools to the advanced beings they were now. She understood their philosophy of harmony, their belief that all sentient life was connected through patterns of energy that transcended physical form. Return. Kelly felt them gently exploring her memories. They witnessed Earth through her eyes, the oceans, forests, cities. They experienced human emotions, the complexity of love, friendship, family loyalty. They saw human creativity, art, music, literature. They understood human struggles, conflicts, growth, resilience. The connection deepened. Kelly sensed the council members were showing her something specific, something important. Images formed in her mind of Earth-facing challenges, climate instability, resource depletion, conflict between nations. She saw potential futures, some hopeful, some devastating. Then she saw possibilities, partnership between humans and celestials, exchange of knowledge and technology, solutions to problems humans had struggled with for generations: clean energy, efficient food production, medical advances, environmental restoration. The connection began to fade gradually, like a tide receding. The star-like object dimmed and the tendrils of light withdrew. Kelly found herself standing in the council chamber again, her mind buzzing with new awareness. That was she struggled to find words. Mind-blowing. The council members made gestures of understanding. "We have shown you the potential," the lead member said, "but also the challenges. Your species stands at a crossroads, Kelly Dawson. The choices made in coming generations will determine your path." Kelly realized they were offering help but also warning. "We need guidance," she admitted. "We have the capacity to destroy ourselves through short-sightedness. That is why we have chosen this moment to make contact," the council member explained. "You personally have been selected as our first bridge. We believe you have the qualities needed to understand us and to help your people understand what we offer." Lyra stepped forward, placing a gentle hand on Kelly's shoulder. "The sharing has confirmed what I observed in you. Your mind is both analytical and compassionate. You seek knowledge, but you also care deeply about how it is used. These qualities make you ideal." Kelly felt overwhelmed by the responsibility. "What exactly are you asking me to do?" "To be a bridge," the lead council member said. "To return to your people with knowledge that can help guide them, not to control their path, but to offer possibilities. A beginning." "Would I come back here?" Kelly asked, looking around at the council chamber at Lyra many times. Lyra assured her this would be the first step in a longer journey. The council members moved back to their semicircle and waiting. "We'll not decide now," the lead member said. "You need time to process what you have experienced. Rest today, tomorrow we will speak again." As Kelly and Lyra left the chamber, Kelly felt changed somehow. Her perception seemed enhanced. Colors were more vivid, sounds more complex. She could almost see the energy patterns Lyra had shown her flowing around everything. "The sharing lingers," Lyra explained. "It will settle gradually. Your mind is adapting to new ways of perceiving." They walked through the city, Kelly, seeing it with new understanding now. She recognized energy patterns in the architecture, the way buildings were designed to channel and harmonize with natural flows. She noticed how celestials communicated with subtle shifts in their light patterns, beyond words. "You showed me potential futures during the sharing," Kelly said, "both good and bad. How certain are they?" Lyra made a gesture indicating probability. "Nothing is fixed. The future branches with each choice, each action. What we showed were possibilities, not certainties." Kelly stopped walking to look out over the city. "That responsibility is enormous. How can I possibly guide humanity when I am just one person? You will not be alone," Lyra assured her. "Others will be contacted when the time is right. You are simply the first, and you will have our continued guidance." They arrived at a different building than Kelly's quarters. "This is the Reflection Garden," Lyra explained. "Many come here after sharing to process their experiences." Inside, Kelly found a space that seemed both indoors and outdoors. Plants that responded to thought pools of water that showed images from memory surfaces that shifted to accommodate visitors' needs. "I will leave you here," Lyra said. "Rest, reflect. Consider what you have experienced. I will return when you are ready." Alone in the garden, Kelly found a quiet spot beside a pool. The water showed images from the sharing experience, replaying memories, both hers and the Celestials. She watched scenes from Earth through alien perception, seeing both the beauty and the flaws of her world. The weight of what she had been asked to do felt enormous. to be the first human ambassador to an advanced alien civilization, to bring back knowledge that could change the course of human history. To help guide her species toward a better future, Kelly wondered if she was qualified for such a task. She was a scientist, not a leader, not a diplomat, but perhaps that was why she had been chosen. She would approach this challenge with an open mind, with careful observation and analysis with the scientific method. As the alien sun began to set, casting multiple shadows through the garden, Kelly made a decision. She would accept the council's offer. She would become the bridge between humanity and the Celestials, but she would do it her way, with careful documentation, with skepticism, where appropriate, with the scientific rigor she had been trained to uphold, and she would insist on proof she could bring back to Earth, evidence that would convince even the most skeptical humans that this contact was real, and the opportunities it presented were genuine. As darkness fell, the garden began to glow with its own light. Kelly felt more at peace with her decision. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she would face them with the same determination that had made her become a space explorer in the first place. After a night of reflection, Kelly met with the council again. The chamber had changed once more, now resembling an open platform under the alien sky. The 7 council members formed a circle around a central pedestal where a small crystal device rested. Kelly Dawson of Earth, the lead council member, began. "Have you considered our proposal?" "I have," Kelly said, "and I accept. But with additional conditions, I need proof I can bring back to Earth, evidence that will convince others this contact is real and beneficial." The council members exchanged looks, then made gestures of agreement. "We anticipated this request," the lead member said. "It is logical. The crystal before you contains information, technology, designs, knowledge selected specifically to benefit your world without causing disruption." Kelly approached the pedestal. The crystal was multifaceted, catching the light in ways that created patterns across the floor. "Is this compatible with Earth technology?" "Not yet," Lyra explained. "But it also contains designs for an interface device that your scientist can build with existing materials, one that will allow access to the rest of the information." Kelly carefully picked up the crystal. It felt warm in her hand, almost alive somehow. "And this information, what exactly does it contain?" The council member made a gesture indicating layers or levels. "First, medical advances, cures for diseases that plague your people, methods to repair environmental damage, efficient energy production, all things your scientists are close to discovering but have not yet realized." "And what do you want in return?" Kelly asked. Suspecting there must be some cost, understanding, the lead council member replied, "We wish to learn from humans. Your art, your creativity, your unique perspective, your emotional depth. These are valuable to us. We seek exchange, not submission." Kelly turned the crystal in her hand. "So I bring this back to Earth, and then what happens?" "You will serve as interpreter," the council member explained. "You have experienced our minds. You understand our intentions. You can help prevent misunderstanding, and others like me." Kelly asked, "Will you contact more humans when the time is right?" "Yes," Lyra said, "but carefully, gradually. Too much, too quickly would cause disruption." Fear. Kelly nodded, understanding the wisdom in this approach. "When can I return to Earth?" "Soon," the lead council member replied. "But first, there is one more place you must see. One more thing you must understand." Platform beneath them began to glow brightly. Kelly felt the familiar sensation of transportation. The council chamber disappeared, replaced by open space. They stood on what appeared to be a transparent floor, suspended among the stars. "This is the observatory," Lyra explained, "where we study the patterns of life throughout the galaxy." Kelly gasped at the view all around them. Stars, planets, nebulae swirled in breathtaking display, but there was more. The space between them was filled with delicate webs of light connecting everything in complex patterns. "What am I seeing?" Kelly asked. "Life energy," the lead council member said. "Every sentient species, every world with developing intelligence. They are all connected in ways most cannot perceive. What affects one eventually affects all." Kelly watched in awe as the pattern shifted and pulsed. Some connections growing stronger, others fading, some bright with activity, others dim and struggling. Humanity is here, Lyra said, touching a point in the pattern, a bright node with many connections. Yet isolated in some ways too. Kelly saw what Lyra meant. Earth appeared as a vivid point of light with strands reaching outward but stopping short of many nearby systems, as if humanity had begun to reach out, but had not yet made the connections it could. We exist within this greater community, whether aware of it or not. The lead council member explained, "Your species' decisions affect the whole pattern, just as others affect you." Kelly began to understand why the Celestials had chosen this moment to make contact. Humanity was at a crucial point, poised between isolation and connection, between self-destruction and growth. "I see now," she said softly, "why this matters, why the timing is important." The observatory faded, and they returned to the council chamber. Kelly found herself holding the crystal again, its facets somehow reflecting the cosmic patterns she had just witnessed. "Prepare yourself for return," Lyra said. "The council has approved a small ship to take you back to your original coordinates. Your research vessel will be there, repaired and functional. Your absence will appear to have been only a few days by Earth time." Kelly felt a sudden mixture of emotions, excitement at returning home with her discoveries, sadness at leaving this amazing world, anxiety about the responsibility she now carried. "Will I see you again?" she asked Lyra many times. Lyra promised, "I will be your primary contact. The crystal contains a way to communicate with me when needed." The next day, Kelly packed her few belongings and the crystal carefully secured in a special container Lyra had provided. The entire city seemed to know she was leaving. Citizens lined the pathways as Kelly walked to the transport area, many making gestures she now recognized as farewell and good fortune. The ship that would take her home was small, elegant, designed for a single passenger and shaped like a teardrop. It glowed with the same opalescent quality as the Celestials themselves. "This vessel will respond to your thoughts," Lyra explained as they stood before it. "The journey will take what feels like moments to you, though it crosses vast distances." Kelly turned to Lyra, suddenly reluctant to leave. "Thank you for saving me, for showing me all this, for trusting me with this responsibility." Lyra made a gesture of deep connection, her skin pattern shifting in complex emotions. "Our paths are joined now. Kelly Dawson. What benefits?" "Earth benefits all." Kelly boarded the small vessel. The interior adjusted to accommodate her human form, creating a comfortable seat that seemed to embrace her. The crystal container fit perfectly into a receptacle near her hand. The ship's walls became transparent, giving her a view of the launch area, where Lyra and several council members stood watching. "Are you ready?" came Lyra's voice somehow inside the ship. "As ready as I can be," Kelly replied. The ship hummed with energy, rising smoothly into the lavender sky. Kelly watched the alien city grow smaller. Below her, the 3 moons came into view, then fell away as the ship accelerated. The stars blurred around her, then everything shifted. The familiar sensation of transportation enveloped her, but stronger, more intense. Kelly felt herself stretched across space and time for what seemed like both an instant and an eternity. When her vision cleared, she saw Earth hanging in space before her, blue and green and beautiful, her home. The small ship had brought her exactly where Lyra had promised her. Research vessel floated nearby, looking completely repaired. The teardrop ship docked smoothly with her vessel. The airlock opened, allowing Kelly to float through back into the familiar confines of human technology. Everything looked exactly as she had left it, except all systems showed green, fully functional. A message appeared on the main screen. "Return journey complete. Safe travels. Kelly Dawson. Remember what you have seen. You are not alone." Kelly watched as the alien ship detached gracefully. Its hull shimmered. Once then it simply vanished, leaving no trace it had ever been there. Kelly checked her ship's log. According to the systems, only 3 days had passed, exactly the time she would have been stranded if her engines had failed, and She had managed to repair them herself. No one would know she had been gone, but the crystal in her hand was proof. She had not imagined it all. She had not hallucinated from oxygen deprivation. She had truly visited another world, met an advanced species, been given knowledge that could change everything. She set a course for Earth, her mind already planning how to approach this. Her scientific colleagues first, those she trusted, those with open minds. Together, they would study the crystal, build the interface, access the knowledge it contained, and then gradually, carefully, they would share what they learned with the world. Kelly looked out at the stars as her ship accelerated homeward. She knew now that the universe was far more crowded, far more connected than humanity had ever suspected. And she, Kelly Dawson, ordinary research scientist, was now the bridge between her world and that larger community. The responsibility was enormous. But so was the opportunity. Somewhere out there, Lyra and her, people were watching, waiting, hoping humanity would choose the right path. Kelly was determined not to let them down. For the first time in human history, Earth was truly not alone, and the hand of friendship had been extended. The future Kelly had glimpsed in the sharing could become reality. If humans were wise enough to grasp it, if they could overcome fear and suspicion to embrace the greater community, waiting beyond the stars, Kelly touched the crystal, feeling its subtle warmth. "If you join me, human, I promise you will be happy," Lyra's words echoed in her memory, and despite the challenges ahead, Kelly believed that promise might just come true. 6 months had passed since Kelly's return to Earth. The crystal now sat in a specially designed laboratory at the research facility where Kelly had gathered a small, trusted team, 4 scientists she had known for years, people with open minds and the expertise needed to understand what the crystal contained. At first, progress had been slow. The interface designs were complex, requiring materials and configurations unlike anything human technology had developed. But gradually, piece by piece, they had built it a device that could communicate with the alien crystal. Samantha Wade, chief engineer on the project, made the final adjustments to the interface. "I think we're ready, Kelly," she said, excitement clear in her voice. "The power coupling is stable, and the translation matrices are aligned." Kelly nodded, feeling a mixture of anticipation and anxiety. This would be the moment of truth. Either the crystal would work as promised, or her entire story would be dismissed as delusion. The small team gathered around the device. Each had signed extraordinary confidentiality agreements. The governments of the world were not yet ready for this knowledge, Kelly had decided. A gradual approach was needed, just as Lyra had advised. "Activate it," Kelly ordered. Samantha initiated the power sequence. The interface hummed to life, lights blinking in patterns that reminded Kelly of the celestial city. Energy flowed into the crystal, which began to glow with inner light. Projections appeared above it, schematics, diagrams, formulae, and 3-dimensional display. "My God," Samantha whispered. "It's working." The information flowed in carefully organized sections. Just as the Council had promised, medical advances first, cures for diseases that had plagued humanity. For generations, cancer treatments that targeted only harmful cells without side effects, regenerative therapies for damaged organs, neural repair techniques for spinal injuries and brain damage. Dr. Maya Franklin, the medical specialist on the team, stared at the displays in awe. This changes everything," she said. Her hands trembled as she examined a molecular structure floating before her. "This approach to cellular regeneration, we've been looking in completely wrong directions." Next came environmental restoration techniques, methods to extract pollutants from water and soil without harmful side effects, ways to reverse desertification, carbon capture systems that were actually efficient, sustainable materials that would naturally decompose when discarded. Dr. Alan Rogers, environmental scientist, shook his head. "These solutions, they make perfect sense," he muttered. "Why didn't we see these possibilities? It's like they were just slightly beyond our reach." Energy production followed. Plans for solar collectors that operated at nearly perfect efficiency. Designs for safely harnessing fusion power in compact reactors. Storage systems that could hold vast amounts of energy without loss or danger. Professor Linda Chen, Energy Systems. Specialist examined the fusion containment designs. This solves the plasma stability problem we've been struggling with for decades, she said. And so elegantly. Too, it's beautiful. Really. Finally came communication technology. Instructions for building a more permanent link to the Celestials. A way to maintain contact, to ask questions, to continue the exchange of knowledge. The team worked through the night documenting everything. The crystal contained more information than they could process in months, perhaps years, but it was organized in a way that made it accessible, starting with foundations, then building to more complex applications. As dawn broke, Kelly stood by the window looking out at the research facility grounds. The world outside continued as normal people going about their lives, unaware that everything was about to change. We need to move carefully, Kelly told her team. This knowledge can't just be dumped into the world at once. The economic, political, social disruptions would be catastrophic. Maya nodded. We're talking about cures for diseases. That entire industries are built around energy technologies that would make oil and coal obsolete overnight. It's revolution, not evolution. We'll need allies. Linda suggested people in positions of influence who can help manage the transition. Exactly, Kelly agreed. And we need proof, undeniable evidence that this information works and comes from where I claim it does. The team decided on a strategy. Start with a single breakthrough, one that would help humanity without disrupting too many existing systems. They chose a cure for a rare childhood disease, one that currently had no treatment, one that would save lives immediately without threatening pharmaceutical profits. In the weeks that followed, they synthesized the treatment following the celestial formula exactly. They tested it, confirmed its safety and effectiveness. Then Kelly approached a trusted colleague at a major research hospital, Dr. Harold Wilson, a man known for his integrity and open mind. Kelly told him everything, showed him the evidence, the crystal, the interface, the cure they had developed. To her relief, he believed her, or at least believed enough to try the treatment on patients who had no other hope. The results were miraculous. Children who had been given months to live made complete recoveries with no side effects. The medical community took notice, papers were published, data was scrutinized and confirmed. Other researchers attempted to recreate the treatment and succeeded. Questions arose. Where had this breakthrough come from? Kelly and her team revealed part of the truth. A new theoretical approach, they called it, a revolutionary way of looking at molecular interactions. They did not yet mention aliens or crystals or mind sharing. Privately, they continued their work, implementing more of the celestial knowledge, creating proofs of concept for the energy technologies, the environmental solutions. The communication device took shape, allowing Kelly to contact Lyra regularly, reporting progress, asking questions. It will take time, Lyra advised during one such communication session. Generations, perhaps. But the path has begun. 1 year after her return, Kelly stood before a select committee of world leaders and scientific authorities. The time had come for more of the truth to be revealed. She had gathered irrefutable evidence, successful treatments, functioning prototypes, working models. She had allies now, people of influence, who had seen the benefits and wanted more. I have a story to tell you, Kelly began, her voice steady despite her nerves. A story about a journey to another world, about beings of light and knowledge, about a hand extended in friendship, and about the future we might build if we have the wisdom to accept their offer. She told them everything, from the moment her ship had failed to her return with the crystal. She showed them the communication device, allowed them to speak briefly with Lyra herself. She presented the evidence they had gathered over the past year. There was skepticism, of course, disbelief, accusations of fraud or delusion. But the evidence was there, undeniable, verified independently by dozens of experts. The treatments worked. The technologies functioned exactly as described. The alien communication was real. The world changed slowly at first, then with gathering speed, the celestial knowledge was released gradually, carefully. With each new breakthrough, humanity advanced. Diseases were conquered. Energy became clean and abundant. Environmental damage began to reverse. Other contacts were made, just as Lyra had promised. Other humans were chosen to experience the sharing to become bridges between worlds. A network formed of scientists, artists, philosophers, leaders, all working to guide humanity toward the future. Kelly had glimpsed in the sharing. 5 years after her return, Kelly stood on the platform of the first International Spaceport A facility, designed using celestial principles. A ship waited nearby. Built with human hands but inspired by alien knowledge, it would be the first human vessel capable of traveling to nearby star systems. Lyra appeared beside her, visible only to Kelly through a special interface. "Your people have progressed faster than we anticipated," she said, her form translucent but distinct against the busy backdrop of the spaceport. "They were ready," Kelly replied. "They just needed a push in the right direction." "There will be challenges still," Lyra warned. "Not all accept the new path. Some fear change. Some lose power or wealth with each advance." Kelly nodded, understanding all too well the resistance they had faced. There were those who claimed the alien contact was a hoax, those who saw it as a threat, those whose industries were disrupted by the new technologies, but they were a diminishing minority. The first crew boarded the ship. Explorers, scientists, diplomats heading to the nearest star with a habitable world, not to conquer or exploit, but to learn to connect, to extend the pattern Kelly had seen in the observatory. "I remember what you said to me when we first met," Kelly told Lyra. "If you join me, human, I promise you will be happy." Lyra made a gesture of affirmation. "Are you happy, Kelly?" Dawson Kelly watched as the ship prepared for departure, its engines glowing with clean energy, its hull emblazoned with symbols of Earth alongside the pattern of the celestial harmony, a symbol of partnership, of shared future. "Yes," she said. "I believe. I am, and I believe humanity will be too. In time, as we find our place in the greater community." The ship rose smoothly into the sky, carrying humanity's ambassadors to the stars. For the first time, not as conquerors or colonizers, but as equals, prepared to learn as well as teach, to listen as well as speak, to join rather than dominate. Kelly knew there would be setbacks, conflicts, mistakes, but the path had been set. The pattern had been joined. Humanity had taken its first true steps into the cosmic community, and she, Kelly Dawson, ordinary research scientist, had helped make it possible.